Picking Arman. I think I mean, look at what he did in the first fight on short notice as a kid. I think certain styles are just problems for Makachev. He's a little ball of muscle. He's basically a tankier version of Volk, and I don't mind I think he's more powerful on the feet. I do think Arman can defeat, especially the Poirier performance. Like, I think Arman could do a lot better against Poirier. I don't know. I think Arman will win. I think Arman will win that. I'm not going to just base it off of the Gamrot fight. I know I picked Makhachev in the initial reaction, but I'm thinking about it more as the fight closes. Like, the fight is way closer, like he did Charles. I know, but then again, you know, Makachev has struggled with fighters before. So I don't know. It's one of those things, isn't it, man? It's a tricky one. All the lightweight contenders outside of Charles and Islam are not that good, but Arman won them. Listen, Charles Oliveira had moments and Arman, okay, good, include. Yeah, Jesus. People talk about the Charles Oliveira Arman fight, and yes, Charles Oliveira like had him in positions, but for the majority of the fight, Arman was winning, you know? But then Oliveira would like catch him at the end of round 2 in a sub, and catch him in the guillotine in round 1, and catch him with the Dash choke in round 3. But in round 2, for the vast majority of it, Arman was just beating him up on top position. And in round 3, for the majority of it, it was beating him up in top position as well. So, you know, it is what it is. Arman can wear Islam out. Yeah, maybe. I think Arman can win it, man. You're right, it's a tough fight, but Makachev is better on the feet and the ground. Yeah, I don't know, though, man. Look at how good Arman did in the first fight, and he's way more new to it, you know? He's way more new to it. I think once Makachev can't just keep your back for a whole round, like he did against Poirier in round 1 even, like the opponent gains a lot more confidence in their game. I think Arman can win, man. Like, chat, does Makachev finish Beneil Dariush as quickly as Arman does? Because a lot of you guys are going to say, well, look at the Oliveira fight difference between the two of them. And I'm like, but the styles make fights, you know? Would he finish him as quickly as Oliveira, as what's it called, did? I don't think he would finish Beneil Dariush that quickly. I think he would struggle with Dariush and then finish him in round 2. Not struggle, but he would get scrappy with him and then maybe finish him in round 2 or 3. It's tricky, man. I might go Arman. I think Arman's a good pick. And you know what it is, chat? It's one of those picks, yes or no, where you don't make it, and then you, in hindsight, you go, of fucking course. You know? Of course. It's one of those picks, and those are the ones you got to watch out for. It's one of the reasons why I went with Edwards over Usman, because it's one of the ones where I'd be like, damn, if I went, like, obviously he would win. Like, if you didn't pick Ilya over Volk or Holloway, can you imagine? Like, of course he would win. Look at the way he fights. Look, I don't know. Look at the first fight they had when Arman was literally a fucking child in the game compared to Makachev, and he fucking gave him a hell of a fight. And now what I'm considering is he'll be confident to stuff the takedowns, and then he'll be like, the body kick of Arman Tsarukyan, I think, is so underrated. That lead body kick that he throws. Makachev, very high and tight guard these days. Big body kick. He defends very flexibly off of a single leg. I think I might go Arman. Islam 33 and Arman's 28. And when they first fought, I think Arman was like 22 years old. And Makachev was, what, 30 or 26 or 27, whatever the math would be. 36? 37, I think. 27, Jesus. I took Arman getting out of Oliveira's subs as a massive positive. Same. The guillotine, he's got grit. Like, I don't think he's going to just get subbed by Makachev. He was 22 on short notice, yeah. Arman said he only started fighting for clout, though. And look how good he's got. And you know when people start fighting not because they want to be the best in the world, and then they realize they can be in the middle of their career, that's going to just make me think that he's going to make more improvements. You know what I mean? If he said, I only fought to get my verified thing, which I believe, because sometimes, you know, he's in a niche part of the world. He has a couple cage fights as a pro. Like, he wasn't like groomed into it like Makachev was, you know? Do you think Arman does better with Volk? Now, yeah. But maybe the Volk that moved up, I don't know. Be a bit trickier for him. But I could see him KOing Volk. He's a powerful guy, Arman. He's very good on the feet with his jab. Shorter guys typically do give Makachev problems. Yeah, I'm going to go Arman, man. I'm going to go Arman decision, 48-47. Makhachev's been picking up some scar tissue as well. He got cut against Poirier pretty bad. He got cut against Volkanovski as well. These are the things you got to weigh in when it comes to who's going to win a close decision, you know? I don't know. It's close, isn't it? The weight cuts, yeah. Makhachev's, he's expressing less of a desire to just be a defending champion. And also it gets stale for champs. Don't you think, chat? Which is maybe one of the reasons why they lose eventually, even though you think they're a lot better than their contenders. Don't you think it gets a bit stale for Makhachev? He rematches this guy. Then the Poirier fight, that's kind of fresh, but it's really tough for him. And then now he's got a rematch an Arman fight where it doesn't really do much for his legacy, but it's a big fight for him. And, they get relaxed. Yeah, it doesn't become the biggest thing ever anymore. But for Arman, this is the fucking moment where he gets to shock the world. I think Arman wins. They do Arman versus Oliveira 2. Arman wins. Makhachev gets the rematch, and then Makhachev might win a rematch or something, being rejuvenated. It just flipped a switch on him. You know what I mean? Something like that. I can just so see that storyline at lightweight. He did clearly beat Gamrot. I thought so as well. Like I don't know if you were listening to the fight back as well, if you've watched it back, but the body kicks were slamming into Gamrot really badly. And I think that deserved a lot more credit in some of the rounds. It was a close fight. I get it, but Gamrot is good. Sometimes he gets a little needy for the takedown and it kind of hinders him, but he's a very good lightweight. You know what I mean? Loki could see you. And also, there's going to come a time where Makhachev defends injured. Because as a contender, he could pull out of certain fights. And then he makes this run as a champion, and he kind of has to show up now. Because he's been out for a bit. When was the last time Makhachev fought? It can't have been that long ago. Must have been the middle of last year. Or this year, sorry. But then, you know what? Do we overrate Volk? I know it's a crazy take because we've loved Volk for so long. But, the performance he had against Makhachev, we kind of put it on this pedestal of like, wow, Makhachev is so amazing and so is Volk. What an amazing fight. But at the same time, it gets to the point where I'm like, damn, I feel like Arman would have taken advantage a bit more dangerously on the feet than Volk did. Not do we overrate Volk as in like he's earned his legacy. But do we overrate the threat that he actually is in a fight? He's very technical. He's very good. And at featherweight, he's got the physicality as well. But in terms of like a threat on the feet where you've got to watch your P's and Q's at all times in lightweight, I don't think he's the guy Arman is. I don't think he's the same guy. I don't think he flatlines Dariush in round 1. I don't think he fucks up Joel Alvarez like that, the way Arman Tsarukyan did, batters him on the ground and destroys him. He's a volume guy. He was like tapping low kicks that weren't really doing anything to Makhachev. He was catching him and putting him away. But I feel like against Arman, Makhachev is going to be a lot more twitchy on the back foot. That's all I'm going to say. Arman is a sizable guy next to Volk. A much bigger dude. And he has the same level of scramble. So I think he'd probably do better in terms of not getting his back taken. He has better flexibility than Volk. Volk's a little too small, I think. Yeah, he is. I think people look into the split decision against Oliveira, which, by the way, I was screaming about it. Arman should have won. I've rewatched it. I don't know, man. Arman fucks people up. I know he got caught by Joaquim Silva. I get it. Like, there's fights where you notice things. But then again, I'm like, dude, he fucking fucked up Demiris Magulov and fucked up Joel Alvarez. And I don't know. Destroyed Matt Frivola, ragdolled him, absolutely fucking ragdolled these guys. And I know that these names aren't too crazy to say out loud, but he does demolish people. Fuck, man. He clearly beat Gamrot. If you really look at it, it's like this. The guy's beaten, since the Makachev loss, which he took on short notice in the UFC, when he was how old? He's 28 now, so he would have been 23. He would have been 23 years old. And has he been KO'd outside the UFC? Yeah, he got KO'd in his second ever fight. There you go. Whatever. Then went on a crazy streak. Got to the UFC. Since the Makachev fight, he dominated OAM, or clearly beat OAM, out grappled him, which is a solid win in my opinion. Davey Ramos clearly beats him. Ragdoll's Matt Frivola destroys him, makes him look like a fool, in my opinion. That was a destructive fight. Flatlines Giagos early, puts him away. Performance bonus. Destroys Joel Alvarez. Absolutely fucking destroys Joel Alvarez and finishes him in round 2. I'm not coping with picking Arman, and I don't like you spamming in chat, so fucking stop. I'm not coping. I'm not letting you drive me off this pick. I think I'm onto this. Beats Gamrot. Let's just face it. Beats Gamrot. And that's even when he's 26 years old. Then Demir, then Joaquim, then Benil, then Oliveira. I just can't say that Makachev subs him, and I can't say that Makachev KOs him. I don't know if based on the first fight, yeah. He's got a freestyle wrestling background, Tiger Muay Thai. It's just all the clues are there where I'd hate myself for not picking Arman. So I'm going to pick Arman, I think. Because it's one of those ones where if it happens, I'll be like, of course. Of course I should have picked Arman to win. Look at Volk in the first fight when he was fully prepared. You know? He's 28. He's 28. First fight was so long ago. Yeah, when he was a kid. And he took it on short notice. How much notice was it? So Makachev was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Francisco Trinaldo. And then it got his fight got. Who pulled out of this fight? Makachev was pulled from the fight, so no injury. And then they rescheduled his fight to April. And then they found an opponent for him in April, I guess. It was in Russia. Okay, that's why they pulled him from the card. They wanted him on the Russia card. Overeem versus Olenek. Arman was a baby, man. Looked like a tank versus Charles. Those subs were nowhere close. I disagree. Some of them were close. But he also entertained it, you know? He didn't drop... Listen, he didn't drop Oliveira and then jump on him. Like, he straight up took down Oliveira and did his thing on top until the very end of the round, you know? What were the stats? Stats in Arman versus Oliveira. He outlanded him 22-5 in round 2 and 18-5 in round 3. 75-33 on total strikes. 8 minutes and 40 seconds of control time over Charles Oliveira. Escaped 4 submission attempts. That's insane. Escaping 4 submission attempts. We're using ground and pound and elbows as outstriking Charles. On the feet, he was outstriking Charles Oliveira. Did he landed an axe kick on Charles? He was popping his jab out, slipping on the inside. I don't think it was just ground and pound. And Islam wasn't. No, Islam did. I know there's a counter argument. It's Makachev. I get it. You're not swaying me with a counter argument. I'm going to go Arman. Arman's a talent. Never had a crazy background in anything. He's made for this. I think so. This is where he rises to the occasion. People are going to call me anti-Dagestani for just daring to pick against Makachev, but he's been flatlined before. I just think Arman hitting you with anything is way worse than Volk hitting you with anything. And Volk in the first fight got so much respect from Makachev. Arman's body kicks and low kicks are just different than Poirier. Poirier don't throw kicks. He just boxes and tries to stuff takedowns. You know? And Arman's crazy flexible defending takedowns, scrambles like a maniac. Volk is 3 times the striker of Arman. I disagree. Absolutely disagree. I think he's a slightly better technical striker than Arman Tsarukyan, but I don't think he's as dangerous on the feet. Not at lightweight. Not at lightweight. For his respective division, I agree. But at lightweight, Arman's kicks are... His body kicks are insane. Much better striker, not as dangerous, yeah. I wouldn't say much better. Clearly better. Much is... Boxing a lot better, I'd say. But kicks, you got to value the damage that they can cause. You know what I'm saying? You got to value the effect of the moves. Volker's getting rocked by Ortega and Mendez. It's true. This is true. But Arman got rocked by Christos Giorgos, so shit happens when you're trying to strike with people, you know what I mean? I'm an elite level athletic ability, yeah. I just can't believe Arman got out of mount against Oliveira in round 1 the way he did. Shorts came off. That was why he escaped the guillotine. But I can't believe he got out of mount. I can't believe it because Oliveira had mount and he was scared to throw elbows on Arman because Arman was like bucking out of mount like crazy. And Oliveira had perfect mount on him and he just fucking kipped out of it from bottom position. It's crazy strong. Like, I almost see the Oliveira fight, even though people see it close, I see it as like Oliveira had every chance to win and he still couldn't beat Arman. Do you know what I mean, chat? I'm not saying that Arman's a better striker, Liam. You're lying. You know it's going to be a striking match. Who's a better striker, him or Arman? Arman. I think Arman's a little better. Sick fight. Sick fight. I'm going to go Arman. I think a lot of Makachev's success on the feet is because people are terrified of his takedowns. And I don't think Arman's going to be as terrified, knowing how well he did in the first fight. Saying he's a better striker. I thought you were talking about how I was comparing him to Volk. That's all. I don't think he's as technical, but I think he's a lot more dangerous. Oh my God, look at the picture on IG. Bro, look at this picture. I know he's got an angle on him, but let me send you this link. Just type in Arman Tsarukyan, Alexander Volkanovski, and then go to the first result. Literally the very first result if you type in Arman Tsarukyan, Alexander Volkanovski. Look at Arman on the right compared to Volk. He's yoked, man, and he's at least 2-3 inches taller and as fucking dense as Volk. He's not going to look victimy out there the way Volk looked in the rematch. And even the first fight, I was just terrified for Volk. Got 3 extra centimeters of reach. I don't know, Guru. I hate Islam. I see Arman having a disadvantage on the feet. Don't like Arman's chin either. And Makachev's chin's great. You think? I know he took shots off Poirier, but Makachev's chin's great. You don't think there's weakness there? The way he was getting stunned by Volk in round 5? I don't know, man. I'm going to go Arman. Islam gets gassed. Arman is going to elbow Islam in guard. I don't see that. But I can see Arman reversing position and ending up on top. He's very weirdly flexible with his hips. You know? Like, I can see Makachev. You know what I can so see? Makachev on a single leg trying to drive and dump Arman and Arman punching him while he's balancing on one leg. You know, I can see that so clearly in my head. And then Makachev like getting sort of disheartened on a single leg because he's getting punched by Arman as he's like bouncing up against the cage. And I think Makachev's a little stronger, but I think Arman's strength is going to I don't know. Makachev's a little stronger, but he tries a lot harder in positions. That's so going to happen, yeah. Who do you think has a I've already read it. Arman just needs to land one elbow and it changes the fight completely. Yeah. Makachev's got that scar tissue. He cut himself right there against Poirier. Islam isn't shooting. I don't think Arman is shooting. I think Arman is shooting, if anyone. You think Makachev won't shoot on Arman? It's kind of interesting. Arman being that big of an underdog is stupid. Same as Merab being that big of an underdog. Yeah. Islam will definitely shoot. I think so. He'll try and get a single leg and trip out the rear leg of Arman. He'll try and just kick it out from under him and end up on top for a bit. I can see a lot of Arman looking up at the clock while Makachev is kind of Merabbing him in moments. But I got Arman, man. I think he'd just be more devastating, like with a calf kick. Maybe I could look like a retard here, but I just don't see how someone can look that good against someone so early in their career compared to Makachev being close to his prime. And then now he's 28. He's not going to make up that difference. We've spoke the whole stream about Arman versus Makachev, but I think I'm going Arman.